Hello guys and gals. Uh, Another one of my favorite videos where I do nothing but talk, but that's what I love doing. One day I overthink things, so I always think that, I could put up a video, it would be bad, I don't know how to edit, even though it's probably very easy, and I gotta look into that because I like when people are talking and they kind of give an illustration, kind of gives a better idea of what they're talking about, um, as you follow along. Um, I wanted to put up this video first, while I'm awake for the most part. I usually generally do them when I'm tired as an afterthought because usually my brother hangs out in the back here and I don't want to make a video when he's here. Also, he has two dogs and they follow him everywhere and the one always makes noise. Um, so it might be hard to hear me at times. But also I don't want to sit here and say things and certain times he'll interject. I mean, he really doesn't do that during the video, but I just don't want to. It's easier. I feel a little less nervous when no one's around because I can't laugh or anything like that. I get it, but it's a lot easier for me. Um, if you see me drink something, my throat's getting dry. I have a Coke here to my left. Um, while I'm on here, and I might have, you know, somebody might watch this video in the future. I was on Let Go, and somebody had a Genesis. They didn't have the power cord with it, so it's a possibility it didn't. It might have not. There's a possibility it probably worked, but there's a possibility it did. But looking at the way it was kept, it had about 40 games with it. They wanted $50, and I was like, oh. It was in Reading, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get this. I asked if it would ship, and they marked it as sold. So, somebody ended up with a nice box of games, or it'll end up eBay in the next few days, unfortunately. But all the games were boxed, and I was like, oh man, I love that because then I couldn't see what was there, and it could have been a bunch of sports games, but it looked like they were playable games. So there could have been some games that I didn't have, or I love it when someone sells a package, like a package, a lot of games, I should say, and they come with games that you could play. So that just, I guess it feels like being a kid all over again, but it's fun because there's a bunch of playable titles. Like I said, there's always that chance that something I don't have, even if it's something that's not worth that much. A lot of times, even some sports games or common titles, as some people refer to them, I don't. Um, um, I don't have. Um, now, this would be for another discussion and all, but sometimes I think people confuse common titles with cheap titles. I think it's, you assume that because they're common, they're cheap, and there's some truth to that, but not always. I mean, you figure, there's certain games that they made, I'd have to look at some numbers, but I mean decent amounts of, and like Super Metroid, I don't think that's a rare game, and it's like $40. So, it's not like, it's not like some of the sports games they put out there. It's just because they made a bunch of sports games, everybody wanted them. It's just that nobody wants them. Most people don't want uh, sports games or common titles that they don't find fun. These are games that aren't really that fun. So there's a supply and demand type of thing, and maybe I'll get into that uh, tomorrow or another video as to why video games are so um, retro games are so expensive, and I think that's part of the reason too. Um, but for today, I wanted to say that I think I'll say there was. I wanted to originally turn it into I wanted to originally turn it into just a retro gaming, like another collectors, uh, collectors, you know, like complaint or whatever, collectors, collectors. Another thing about, you know, why it kind of sucks, or at least one of the about, excuse me, collecting retro games, video games, really, just in general. Um, but I decided, you know, that I was going to throw a couple points on here, and I decided for the first time that I'm going to, you know, instead of just doing a couple videos, I'm going to make this one. The first topic I'm going to talk about is one of the things I love today about modern gaming, or current gen gaming, as some people refer to it as. And then I'll get into the topic of, you know, the negative, some of the negative things that collecting is about. And I wanted to make this video a little while ago, but I just never got around to it. Now that I started kind of doing them again, I'm like, you know what, let me just do this video. Let me do it now that I'm, you know, more awake. Actually, of course, I don't know, it's like being on camera instantly makes me tired. I feel relaxed now, and you know, I'm like, the heck with it. Now I'm. It's funny how that works. I don't know why. As soon as I sit in this chair, stare at the camera, I start feeling like, you know, completely turned around. But maybe that's because I'm concentrating or something. I don't know. I sleep kind of weird anyway. Um, but the first thing I want to talk about is like I said, the positive things really about one current gen as opposed to you know, retro or back then games that we didn't have. And then uh, if and I'll say when I'm going to switch topics, and then I'll talk about a couple of negative things instead of just one about video game collecting. Um, but the first thing I wanted to say was, right now, like I said, I gotta learn. I gotta do some screen capturing and video editing. But right at this moment, I'm playing Star Wars uh, Fallen Order, and you know, this isn't the first game to do this. I'm playing on the Xbox One, like I said. I've talked about how much I love the controller. Of course, you know, I always, for some reason, people just take that as I love Xbox, and I'm an Xbox fanboy, which none of that's true. I just love the controller. I don't care, you know, who makes what games. I just love video games. Um, but someone always inevitably turns that to some kind of, oh, that means, you know, you don't like the PS4 or the Switch, and uh, I always have to put up with that no matter where I am. No matter how many times I defend myself, I still get the, you know, oh, you're a, you know, you're a Sony fanboy, or sorry, you're an Xbox or a Sony hater, or something like that. Uh, anyway, um, so I've been playing it on the Xbox, and I noticed that I should say that I shouldn't say the games of ours, but with the Xbox, one thing I noticed, and it's the same thing with the PlayStation, is that you can just pick off from where you started. And I love that. That's a new feature that I love. Instantly just play. Instantly right there. I absolutely love that feature. I'm assuming the Switch is the same. It doesn't matter to me. But I love the feature where you can just play right away. And, you know, back in the day, and it's different. This isn't just you download, or sorry, you reload your save and you start playing right away. It's essentially the same, but it's a little bit different because it's instantly there. It's not like it takes a few minutes or even a few seconds. You know, like it's instantly there. I should say a few minutes or a few seconds to load. It's instantly. It just you literally start. It literally just shuts down where you started or where you're at, and it just starts from there usually. Now I've had Xbox games, you know, kind of reboot a little bit, but for the most part, it seems to start where you left off, and maybe that's the game. But I love it. I absolutely love it. And it's great because you don't have to, at least with Fallen Order, you don't have to save every time. So if you forget, you played for hours, you might, just quit the game. Uh, or, back in the day, I mean, games are different, obviously, so, and, once again, games were different. So don't, you know, I don't want to, I don't want people coming at me like, oh, if the game's more challenging. I know, I get it. Obviously, that's why I'm talking about this, but uh, like I said, they're a lot different now, and one of the positive things I love is that you start instantly where you're at. Uh, like I said, back in the day, you just didn't do that. Obviously, technology is advanced, but it's just the way it is. You know what I mean? Uh, but it's really cool. It's a really great feature that I love. I'm about to play the game soon after I'm done with this video. I wanted to do the video first, but I thought I'd talk about that. And as a first video, essentially talks about the positives of today's gaming versus yesterday's gaming. And that's one of the positives. I probably will never talk about the graphics because that's kind of a given, but it's more about the experience, and that's one of them. And like I said, a lot of games are like that, and something I choose to enjoy. Um, but you don't have to reboot it or nothing like that. Loading the saves, like I said, not all games do it, and maybe it's the Xbox, but uh, either way, I enjoy it. And well, I would like to talk more about it, but there's not really much I can say other than that. So if you're watching this video and you decided that you wanted to listen to that part, I'm done with this, and you want to click off, please go ahead, because I'm gonna talk about one of the things that I'd been wanting to talk about. I just never got around to it. So feel free to click off, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Um, so good luck with your life, and I'm just gonna wait. All right. So that should be enough time for people who didn't want to see about the retro stuff. I'm guessing some of you are watching this video because of it. Oh God, this is probably, by the time I actually get some subscribers, it'll be like 2 or 3 years old, maybe, before you even watch it. Maybe even older than that. But the first thing I wanted to talk about was, like I said, I'd been making a video about this, or wanting to, and one of those was I wanted to say about the, let's see, I call them my collector pet peeve videos. And with my collector pet peeve video, I figure this is probably better on my back if I sit back instead of slouch forward. I got to work on my posture, but it's something I've done my whole life, so it's hard for me to, I remember the ladies telling me about how I should move my head back, and it just feels weird, just having it back when I'm used to having it forward, and I'll just have to do that. But one of the pet peeves I have is, um, like I said, a lot of collectors, you're going to get the people who are, quick to comment and quick to say how fake, or like, oh, like quick to make me out like the bad guy, It's like, well, no offense, but, you don't put in the time that I do when I try to find everything and everything. I mean, I explore all avenues, and when there's something I like, I tend to use that a lot. And eBay was one of them. Believe it or not, I didn't even realize this till after the fact, sometime later. But it, I guess it goes to show you how I think. But I honestly, didn't didn't dawn on me because and one of those things is that people were sending me things that were purposely broken, or excuse me, or that they, and that's something else I should talk about, but I'll talk about that later. Um, but because I was so used to buying stuff that is in as is condition, I didn't really dawn on me, that people were trying to rip me off. Like I said, it's another topic, but I say it because there for a while, and I still go on eBay. I love going to eBay. eBay takes all the time and guessing, and as much as it's a pain to, you know, um, as much as it's a pain that people are putting things on there that are essentially higher than they're really supposed to go for, it's also, honestly, it's also a little bit easier because then you don't have to sit around and wait and, try to outbid and try to be there when someone else is there. You have to wait for the auction and hopefully around when it's starting to end. It's easier sometimes to just buy stuff. Uh, if I'm getting off the subject, sorry, but I do love using eBay when I can. Um, Obviously, you can find your best deals out of eBay, but it just makes it convenient and quick. Uh, with that being said, the first two times, um, excuse me, this happened to me was from eBay. And like I said, that I will find every avenue to collect. And off topic again, eBay is where you can usually find those things you just can't find. You're looking for this game, you're looking for this game. I can't tell you how many collectors are finally like, look, I'll just buy it. I'm sick of looking for it. I want it, and I can't never find it, so I'll just buy it from eBay. And then it's funny hearing the same collector be like, oh yeah, and then after I bought it, I found it finally. Um, I'm not calling them impatient. I always find it funny how that works because I've had the same thing. I wasn't exactly looking for a game particularly, but it's funny how when you buy it, then you finally find it. Uh, One of the games, I'm still getting off topic, that I've been looking for that I haven't found yet is Einhander for the PlayStation. I just haven't got around to buying it, and it irks me that I can never find it. I found one person with it, and they wanted $150 for everything they had, and they couldn't get the price that they wanted. And I had offered it to them in the end, but they never responded to me. And you know, that game alone would have made the whole lot worth it. And I was like, I really wanted that game. I just never got it. It's kind of annoying when I find out and see other people find it, and it's like, you know, eh. But anyway, um, I always do that because I just love talking about my experiences. I mean, this is the only way I can really get some stress, get some, uh, like some of the frustrations off my chest, or to talk at the camera. And I'll talk about eBay a lot because I used to use eBay a lot, and then one day I will again. But there for a while, I was just buying tons of stuff from eBay. And the first time this happened was, let's see, yeah, it was a Genesis. And before I specifically say the story, what basically I'm complaining about is people, and this happened to a friend too, actually, but people don't get the price they like, and then they just don't send you. They make something up, or they just don't send you the product. And a friend of mine this happened to with a snowboard or something. He said he was looking for a specific snowboard, and he got a good price on it, and ended up the guy I don't remember what the guy said, but the guy called him or sent him a bunch of things. He couldn't send it to him, and there was all these different problems, and it's like you know what I mean. So it's not just me, and I'm sure if you polled some people out there who used eBay enough or had those experiences, they would probably tell you the same. Um, that you know that happened to them too. So it's not just me. Uh, But the first time it was like a Genesis. So original Genesis in a blue box, and it came with like 5 games. And I remember one of them was like Mortal Kombat 2. I remember that. And like Sonic 2, like some decent games. I'm like, oh, some of these games are worth playing. And at that time, a Genesis in a box, I mean, Genesis weren't selling for much. So at the time, a Genesis in a box was pretty cheap. I mean, that would have been the time to collect them. They're still not very expensive now. But, you know, that, especially then, was the time to collect them. And I had never seen a Genesis in a, I'm pretty sure, it was the first model. It could have been the second one, but I'm pretty sure it was first because it came in like a blue box. Um, and I remember being excited, like, oh, you know, finally when I have one in a box and I got it cheap and I got a good price on it. And, you know, I should say that I bid on it and it was like, it only came out to like $20 or something like that. Plus, I think the price of shipping. And I was like, oh, cool. We got a great price on it. You know, I was excited about it. I'm like, I can't wait to get this. Get a box, get a clear, like a plastic box protector or something to put it in. And, you know, I finally have my first box Genesis. And then I get a message saying, oh, I stepped on it. I'm like, really? You know, you just feel in your heart like something seems a little fishy. Especially when I was like, oh, well, then I told him, you know what, just send it to me anyway, I'll take it. And, you know, because the games alone were in theory worth enough. And I'm like, oh, well, I'll take it, you know, as such. And then we're like, no, no, we're not going to send it to you. And I was like, see, that's how you can tell they were lying. Because it's like, normally you would be like, oh, you know, I'll just send it to you anyway. And so I was like, look, I'll just take it. And they were like, no, no, I'm not going to send it to you. It's broken. I'm not going to send you a broken one. And I was like, look, I'll take it anyway. And I'm like, yep, that tells me you're lying. And so I was like, fine, fine. So I agreed to, I guess they gave me a refund or something. I was like, fine, I'll just, you know, leave you. I don't know if I even left them a positive. And they left me a positive saying thanks for being so nice. And I was like, ridiculous. Um, you know, finally, I mean, you, you have enough, uh, you have enough problems as it is getting deals. You know, you go through so much to get to them, and when all of a sudden they're just like, you know, and you finally do get them, uh, you know, like someone's there to be like, nope, nope, wait. Um, but fortunately, there's plenty of deals to still be had. Like the one that I told you that I found on, I keep calling it Let Go, but it's Offer Up actually, and kind of sucks. Like I said, because it's always that finally, oh, finally I'm getting a deal, and you know that happens. There's nothing you can do about it because they, you know, they go to eBay and say, oh, you know, I did this, I did that. And, you know, eBay sides them, and because you know they don't want you to get something broken that you want a refund on, you know. But anyway, it was sometime later uh, that um, I have. Uh, I probably mentioned it at least probably once. Oh yeah, because I talked about the Command and Conquer series getting remastered. Well, I love the Command and Conquer series, and there for a while I was collecting the games for the PlayStation. You know, either Command and Conquer. Sometimes I'd even buy. Now there for a little bit I was doing. I'd be buying any console port of it, so that was the Genesis, not the Genesis, excuse me, the Saturn or the N64. Those went up a little bit in price, but I'd still buy them and change it up. And then I just went solely to the PlayStation. And I was buying, of course, the first one, Red Alert, and then Red Alert Retaliation, which is the expansions Red Alert on the PlayStation. And by the way, off topic, or on that subject, the PlayStation does have the expansion to the original one. It came out on PC. It's just already on the discs, and that's why essentially that one's worth the money. More, really, your best option, in my opinion, because you get bang for your buck. But anyway, I was collecting those games, and because you could get them for usually about $5 a piece, $4 or $5 a piece, and I was thinking, oh, these are fun. Every time I collect them, it brings back memories, and so this, oh yeah, it just reminded me of someone I dealt with that I was being a jerk. Um, I was, wow, I remember. Wow, I remember. Yeah, I'm sorry. I remember somebody was, I got something cheap from them, and they were giving me a hard time. And I said it didn't work, and then I sent it back. And then they accused me of breaking it, and I was like, oh my god, like I, I just didn't know how to deal with this person. But I was like, you know what, you need help. Like you really need some serious help. But anyway, uh, what happened was somebody had like they had like uh, all three of them, and I think a starting bid was like, oh, I can't remember. It was $7 or something like that. It was like $10 or $9, and shipping was free. So like they essentially, or maybe it was like $15. So essentially, it was like what games averaged out as like $5 a piece, and then like free shipping. Now there might have been a price for shipping, but it's been so long I don't even remember. The only thing I do remember is I put the bid on there, and of course they didn't send it, and they didn't send me a message, and I was like, after a while, I was like, hey, why didn't you send my stuff? And they were like, "Oh yeah, we're sorry. Yeah, blah 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 blah. We missed that. We made a mistake. What would you like, a refund or the games?" And I was like, "Whoosh." Like, oh, okay. Well, some people deal with a lot. Maybe that's possible. But I'm like, well, I don't care about the money. I just want the games. Like, give me the games. No money, just the games. And then I get a refund the next day. And I was like, you know, there's no way you missed that. I sent them a message saying, I want the games, no refund, just the games. I'd rather have the games. I don't care about the money. And then I get a refund. And I'm like, yep, you didn't like the price that you got. Because I was the only one who bid on it. And I was like, whatever. You know what? You come here, and eBay really can't do anything. I mean, you come here to find the stuff that you can't find or you enjoy finding. And, somebody who doesn't like their price, they don't have to give it to you. That's the best part. It almost makes it seem like it's a little unfair, that, oh, well, I didn't get the price I wanted, so, well, then you're not getting the product. It's like, it just feels like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So, that was the second time that happened. And more recently, a couple months ago, probably by now, maybe even more. Um, I went to Macari. I saw Macari as an app and it advertised, and I looked it up. I have it on my phone, and I said, you know what, this is a good app. It's got a lot of stuff like eBay, and they do. They got a decent amount of stuff that gives you, for me, that selection, that I've seen, um, and basically somebody had two Sega Saturn games for $9, and I looked up the price, and one of them was about that price alone, and the other one was I think about $7 something, $6. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy this. So I ended up buying it, and the person sent me a refund and then blocked my comments so that I couldn't respond about it. And they said one of them didn't work, and I was like, well, thanks for letting me know. You know, thanks for just, oh, oops, it's gone. It that you don't even get to speak. And so once again, I think it was a price that they didn't like. And I was thinking, well, if this is the price that you put on there, you should send it. If you should take the loss, take this big, $5 loss on your chin because you put this as the price, and now you didn't like it, and now you gave me a refund because you didn't like your price. And like I said, of course, I didn't even get the chance to talk about it. Hey, partial refund, nothing. Just here's your refund, and then it was like somehow they can block, the fact that they delisted it, and I couldn't even talk about it. And I was like, that's awesome. They didn't even get a chance to say a single word, um, which kind of made me not like the app as much per se. I've been looking on it, and it's not bad. I'd still consider shopping on it. It's just I didn't like how that worked out. Um, Delisted and just, oh well. Um, so, and by the way, I wanted to say too that, you know, on that subject, that same person had relisted it only as a single game with that price. And I was like, well, that's awesome. And it sold right away. I literally wanted to go on there like, you're a piece of crap. You didn't honor this auction, and then you relist it and you sell it right away. And it's like, you know what I mean? If you're gonna treat people like this, then do something else. Um, but yeah, you get a lot of dime a dozen. You get everyone who thinks they're gonna make a quick buck and whatever. Some people are, I think they get a little illusions of grandeur a little bit. And they don't get what they want, and that's it. Uh, so I'm feeling, of course, tired, and I probably won't go to sleep anyway. Not sure if I'll just. Um, I guess. I guess while I'm here, I might as well just say that the second thing I wanted to talk about was that people. Uh, my second collected pet peeve. Wanting to make a video. I don't know why. Like I said, as soon as I sit here and talk on this camera, all of a sudden I start feeling tired. But my second pet peeve was that people list dirty stuff. Like they literally can't take the time to clean it. I'm like, just make it look like you somewhat care. That you clean something off and you put something on there and it's pictured dirty. Makes me believe that you didn't care about it. And I also think that it takes, speaking from experience, that it takes some confidence from people, and they think, oh, it's not worth the price they listed because it wasn't taken care of. And it may not work because it's been dirty. So it's sitting out. Who knows if it's been sitting out in all types of weather and all types of, climate conditions. And, it looks like no one cared. No one put it in a box. They couldn't even be bothered to put it in a box. And couldn't even be bothered to clean it, let alone maybe even test it. And that's another thing. I don't mind bidding on that stuff because I like taking the risk. Any collector, any experienced collector will tell you that it's inherited. It's an inherited risk that you have to take because you find a lot of stuff out in the wild, and you know you have no idea it works. Usually, those people will have no idea it works. Excuse me. Some people who say that it works actually have no idea that it works, and I can't tell you a few times I've heard, even from other people's stories about, oh, I tried it yesterday, I tested it, and you can tell it wasn't tested, it doesn't work. So it's an inherited risk And in auctions, you bid on things that you take a lot of risk when it doesn't work. It's just that there's a good chance that it does, or a chance that even if it doesn't, you're still willing to put up with it. But, you know, I guess there's a higher chance with something that's dirty because it might have not been taken care of, uh, just neglected. But, that's just how people are. Um, but, I miss this guy on YouTube. There was a guy. I don't think he does it anymore. Last I looked, um, but he used to call himself Stank Mask. I can't remember his handle now, but he used to wear a hockey mask, and he was talking about one time with a console that was dirty, and the funny thing was it was like a bottle of cleaner right behind it, like just that sort of stuff. And I don't like when people list it like that. Oh, now I remember a story. I can't remember. I know it was Offer Up or something like that. This dude had a Genesis, right? And it was really dirty. And I said to him, like, you could tell he was just a punk. And just because of the way he answered me. And I said, oh, hey, you going to clean that? Like, I was like, hey, can I get it for like $20 or something? Or, yeah, he had it listed for a decent price, actually. Uh, or he had it listed for like $25, $20. And I'm like, hey, can I get it for like 15? Because it looks like, you don't know if it works and whatnot. And like, something like you could, I don't know the condition because it doesn't, looks dirty. And he replied, I don't know if the first time, I don't remember if he got a first time when he replied. And, because I thought I had asked him this before, something about it before, if I remember. Because I think I asked him a couple times about, he was willing to ship or whatever. And I think he said, yeah. And I was like, well, do you mind if I get it for a little bit cheaper because it's all dirty and you don't know if it works? And he literally replied, yo, clean it. And I was just like, I replied facetiously. I was like, yeah, good idea. I'm like, dumbass. You could take a bottle of Kleenex. I mean, you don't even need cleaner. All you need is a damp cloth, damp paper towel. You don't even need cleaner just to wipe the dust off. And I was like, you know what? I'm not dealing with you. I'm not dealing with stupid. I deal with stupid all the time. I'm like, I'm not dealing with extra stupid. So, oh, yeah. Oh man, maybe I'd have more stories if I all of a sudden didn't feel as tired as I do. But that's it for this video. I might make something tomorrow or the next day. But just wanted to talk and complain about that. If you see this video, how many times or how long, even if it's 1,000 years from now, make sure you rate, comment, subscribe, especially comment. I'd like to hear your thoughts on everything that I just said, even from the beginning to the end. And 2 days ago, I turned a big 3.7. It was pretty cool. I don't know if it was pretty cool. I didn't really do much, but that's what it was. But on my birthday of every year, I tend to like to do nothing. Like, I figure that's one single day out of the year I can celebrate myself. And I mean by nothing, like nothing. Like, not even leave the house, not do anything. The only thing I want to do is eat and play games or just do nothing. I can watch movies all day, I don't care. But anyway, I'll rate, comment, and subscribe. Everyone says give a thumbs up. Might as well do that too. But till next time, I'll think of more subjects to talk about. And have a great night.